What's up? I'm gonna try some music on this stream this time. So tell me if it's too high or too low. All right. Dramatically access your organization's cloud code usage analytics. Yeah, so right now I'm kind of reviewing PRs. Oh, no one in chat today, okay. So he's adding a new usage route, fetching the usage. Is this in the server? Yeah, okay. The ability to paste in the session key. Types. Makes sense. Wait, where's the session key get stored? Let me go back to that. Hold on. Homder. I might have to make sure this is consistent where it's storing the key. I wonder if Claude can tag that and talk back to me. Let's see. If the eyes pop up, then it'll probably respond. Yeah, maybe not. Is this approach consistent with where we normally store the Automaker related credentials or anything else that's Automaker related? Claude API base URL organizations. Org ID usage. Results, cache token window. Yeah, I don't see this endpoint like documented on their official documentation. What's up, guys? How's it going? Claude Code, you can do it a subscription base if you want, or you can get an actual key. It's probably cheaper if you get a subscription based. What's up, Todd? What's up, Leon? Leon, what's up? Let me give you a shout out real quick. Hold on. Leon. Fun. Yo, go check out Leon Van Ziel. He does a bunch of AI content and a bunch of Claude Code stuff, so I've been watching him, you know, upping my game, trying to learn from other creators, because it's always good to kind of expand your knowledge, get out of your comfort zone and learn from other people, because they're going to find tips and tricks that you just never would have thought of. And same thing, they're going to learn stuff from you, so go check him out. I'll put a link to his YouTube channel here. All right, welcome everybody. So we're going to be working on Automaker today. Right now I'm kind of going through a pull request. An awesome contributor pushed this code to basically add in usage, so we can track usage directly in the application. This is something that me and the core contributors talked about, I think like a week ago, but we didn't see that there's any public API for doing this, and we don't want to violate the terms of service of Anthropic. So we're very concerned about this pull request of merging it, because he's doing some like internal API stuff, hitting endpoints that aren't documented. And then I asked Claude Code, like, hey, is this probably violating the terms of service? And it says, yes, this is high risk. This is not documented anywhere. But let's see, I kind of asked it to do another analysis with the code API, but let's see if this is a hallucination or not. Claude Code's Analytics API, what the documentation describes. Official admin API endpoint requires admin API keys for tracking Claude Code usage in organizations. This is documented and officially supported. This PR's implementation of what the code does uses endpoints like this. So it just hits like the dashboard, uses a session key to extract from the browser's cookies, accesses Claude's API web interface API, not the official API. These are different endpoints from the document API. While they do provide an official API for access to tracking, this PR does not use those official APIs. Instead, it grabs a session cookie, it accesses the API directly, and it basically does some web scraping. Yeah, I don't know. I would say this is probably violating the terms of service. Like, you can't just go and grab stuff off their site unless they make it publicly available, I don't think. So we're gonna put this on hold. There's a way to make this status on hold. Let's see. Do I want to label, or is there like a different workflow we can do here? I'm just gonna make a new I don't know, we'll keep it open, but we'll just put that for right now. What's up, Theodore? What's up, 5'9"? Does Claude Code provide any start free trial? I don't think so. The lowest you can go is at $20 a month, but like you could probably kick off 2 Opus requests with that, and that's it. You'll hit the limit so fast with the $20 a month. Hey, should I use open code because I am low-key broke and I can't convince my dad to give money for AI subscription, and the credit card laws in my country are weird? Yeah, I mean, I think open code's great. I mean, the maintainers, they worked on SST, which is a great like DevOps type of framework. Dax is a really good dev, and I think open code's a really good product. So use open code. I think there's a model called GLM, which is supposed to be very cheap and pretty decent. It's like a Chinese model. So you could check out GLM. I think through Open Router, it's like pretty cheap. But I mean, you're going to have a credit card to use some of this stuff, right? You can't use an LLM. Maybe you can find like a locally running LLM, and maybe open code can connect to local LLMs. But I think as of right now, like the Chinese models are probably the cheapest and the ones that can run locally without needing like the best graphics card, but they might be pretty slow. Is there other way to show overall usage though? I honestly, I don't know. I don't know, but there is a pull request that someone, Tronex is working on to basically add this, where we have how many tokens were used and it gives you an estimated cost. Now, if you're on the subscription for Claude Code, I mean, that doesn't really help you because it's like, okay, am I at my limits yet? My best advice for you right now, until we figure out this other pull request, if it's going to violate the terms of service, is I would just go and bookmark the Claude Code uses page and just keep it on a bookmark. I know it's a pain. It's not integrated. The other approach we could probably do is like an iframe directly in the app that loads this up. But then you probably have to like log into the iframe. It kind of feels like a pain, but yeah, I don't know. Most of the times I don't check my usage, you know? So it's like when you have a subscription, I'm not constantly going and checking my usage. I just do what I need to do. And if I hit my limit, that's probably a sign that you need like a higher subscription. But that's the best advice I can give you, because like right now I just don't think we can support it. They don't have a public API to track your subscription usage. Let's see, what else am I doing today? Add Docker. Oh, this one looked pretty cool. All right, so this guy made a pull request to add Docker container support. So basically right now, Automaker does not really work in Docker. Like you have to run it locally, and that's kind of a security concern because having Claude Code and Codex and all these tools have access to your OS, kind of dangerous. So this wraps it in a Docker container, so you can do a Docker compose up, spin up the UI, spin up the API. Looks like you have to set your Anthropic API key though. That's kind of, you shouldn't have to actually. I think we should be able to connect it with the CLI somehow. But at the very least, I can kind of pull this and test this out. I want to review the code before I pull it. I don't like pulling random code. And by the way, is the music good? Is it too low? Can you actually hear it? Let's see. Shiro added one, but was for task-wise. Opus might be good. Yeah, I'm not going to let you do free publicity on my chat, so I'm going to delete that message. Let's see. You can use GLM in Claude Code. Okay, that's cool. With their subscription. Opus might be good, but you are better, sir. Hee hee. Shiro added one, but it was for task-wise. Using API interface meant for corporate use, as for some companies hook up to their own AWS Claude deployments. Let's see, Bufu. Yo, Cody, what's good? Are you on the Claude Max 100? I'm on the 200 right now. I might go back down to the 100 because honestly, sometimes Opus just doesn't solve the issue, and I have to kick off a Codex GPT 5.1 to get some bugs fixed. So it's like I'd rather just save some of that money and use it for Cursor for on-demand GPT 5.1 or 5.2. Do you think LLMs might plateau? I don't know. I don't know enough about how like LLMs work and like the infrastructure of how it all works. I'm guessing yes, it's going to hit a plateau, and whether that's a software plateau of like the algorithms just can only reach so much accuracy in the output, or if it's a hardware plateau where it's like we just don't have fast enough GPUs to truly do the computations that we need. So, I mean, we're going to hit a plateau at some point. It's just a matter of like, when? We could already be in the plateau. You don't know. Okay, but you are allowed to do that. Allowed to do what? What do you prefer, Claude Code or Cursor? I like using both. I mean, just because you think you're allowed to do it doesn't mean that it doesn't violate the terms of service, right? Where would that thing go? But I have to spend time. I need to go through the Anthropic terms of service and read through it. They might have a clause that's saying, like, if it's not part of the public SDK, you can't, like, just hack at their usage. All right, so he's adding a Docker file to basically run the UI in the server. Which one is this? This is the server Docker file. He has Python, make, G++. Why does he need Python? Oh, it's a node PTY maybe. All right, so then he has a Docker file for the UI. Same idea, copying the package JSON, some scripts. App UI, apps UI, okay. Some beat stuff. This is just hosting the UI locally. He has Nginx to host it. That makes sense. I think this is building it. npm CI. That'll probably give us some issues at some point. All right, where's the volume mount stuff? Automaker and data. We need to get rid of the Open AI key and the Google API keys. We're not using these. I'll make a little note to get rid of these. I think you need an Automaker data directory for this to work. You need a fresh start, Docker volume, remove. Completely isolated from the file host system. I'm not sure if I actually, how does this actually like mount to it? Let's see. Mm-hmm. All right, I think that's the last of the pull requests. I'll just let this Claude Code thing Anyway. Go here. Now, unfortunately, I lost my projects. I'm not sure why I lost. Please add a shortcut for this button that's on the open project dialog so that Command Enter will actually just automatically open it. Let's see, I need a proper... Oh, that's funny. Testing something out. One second, I'm just trying to find something. By the way, if you guys are watching, go to the repo, star the repo for us. That'll help us get some more stars. Oh, found it. Let's see. I want you to refactor the card and put the model underneath the More button. The model in the timer. It doesn't need to be at the top of the card. It needs to be at the bottom. And put the Delete button back near the top right of the cards. All right, so add keyboard shortcuts. So let's make sure we can open up a new project here. I'm going to click Workspace. Let's just pick Icon Generator. That's another project I kind of work on. I do say it's kind of annoying. I can't just type I and go directly to like what I'm looking for. So I think having a prompt to fix that in just a second would be good. Icon Generator. Let's do a Command Enter. There we go. Use file browser must be used within a... I think my app is actually restarting right now. That's the problem when using Automaker to build out Automaker, is that like Vite is going to live reload. And sometimes it just kind of like breaks, you know. Let's go back to Automaker. I do want to kind of style this though. Let's go back to my desktop. I do believe I have... There we go. Now we're cooking. Wait, what happened? That's not Tokyo Night. There we go. I want to double check. Is this actually storing the configuration where it needs to be? Automaker. Are these old? Those are left over. We got work trees. Okay, I don't remember how I'm doing something. This is a good strategy, by the way. If you don't remember something in your code base, you can just go prompt composer when it's super fast. You'll find the answer pretty quick. Can you outline, help me find out where I'm storing the project-related background settings. So for example, if I were to add a background image to my project, where does it save that in JSON? And by the way, if there's anything I'm doing on the stream that you're like, wow, how did you actually like learn how to deal with all these models and interact with Gemini and Opus and Composer? I have a course, agenticjumpstart.com, I've been working on. I think I have like 73 different videos now, almost 11.5 hours of content, teaching Claude Code, Cursor, prompt engineering, context engineering, how these models kind of work. Every time I've been working with this team of core contributors, I'm like learning a lot along the way. And I basically just, everything I learned along the way, I just put in here. And at the very end, we do build out a full stack web application showing you the workflow that I've been using for, I think, like a year now with dealing with these tools. So definitely, I think this is a good value. So go check it out, agenticjumpstart.com. I'll put a link in the description. Sorry, I gotta plug my stuff, you know? Time to start making some money off this channel instead of just giving stuff for free all the time. Is it a known bug that when you press commit on a card or task, it commits everything from the other cards? Yeah, I need to fix that one. That's definitely a bug. I've noticed that too. So I could actually make a little card there. Maybe we can try to fix it with Opus real quick. Yeah, that's a good idea. I want to make a showcase. So if you go to automaker.app, I want to add a showcase page where people can go and like show the applications they've been building with Automaker, so they would get free publicity for their own applications. Like if you're going to build a SaaS product or something, you could do that. Can't you calculate tokens locally? You can. I mean, someone has a pull request to add that in. It has don't merge on it. So I got to figure out. Yeah, this one. I need to get this one in. It at least shows on the cards how much the tokens were. And then we could probably track at the top. But I mean, the Claude subscription doesn't really track on tokens, does it? It doesn't track on like requests or something. Why isn't an agent reviewing this? I do kick off. I mean, sometimes you want to read through the code yourself, right? You can't just let AI do all the work, in my opinion. Are the costs between products made with LLMs comparable to the development costs? As someone from a developing country, I feel that the subscription and the credit top-up costs are too expensive. I mean, I think if you're living in the US, the salary of a software engineer, it makes sense to use these because, I mean, we're able to build Automaker in about like a week. And that was 4 devs with like the $100 a month Claude Code subscription. So if you think about it, that's $25 for the week to build out an entire application that had all these features. So 25 times 4 is $100. What's the average salary of a software engineer in America? Like it's much more than that, right? So $100 for a month is like a drop in the bucket in terms of the actual salary. But for developing countries, I mean, you could probably try to find a cheaper model like GLM or something. But yeah, I really don't know what to say, but it's definitely worth it where I'm living. It may not be worth it where you are all at, but thoughts on Cursor requiring graphite? I don't pay attention to the news cycles about that type of stuff. Is your app for Claude Code only at the moment? It is. We do plan to add in like Codex and maybe open code and some other stuff, but we're trying to make the actual like, there's a lot of bugs, right? There's a lot of things we're trying to figure out and fix. We don't want to add too much. Hey, appreciate you, Shintail. Shintai? You could use a Claude Code usage, I think. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. Maybe we could just, if you have the CLI installed, you could do /usage, and then somehow we could parse that. How are you protecting your brain from AI over dependency? Do you notice any performance declines? I mean, performance in what? I don't plan to go back and like type code by hand, honestly. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So yeah, I mean, if you wanted to go and ask me to build an entire application from scratch, that's like telling a developer in 2025 that's been using Google for 10 years to stop using Google, and they can't Google anything. They can't read the documentation. Now go build it from scratch. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So you've been using Cursor and Claude Code to actually like code stuff and refactor stuff. It just doesn't make sense to go back to manually writing code unless it's like a really obscure bug you're trying to get through. Now see, the image file is stored in Automaker board background extension. For example, background settings JSON in here under the board background property. Project path Automaker settings. I don't think I have a settings though, do I? Your current settings JSON doesn't have a board background property yet. It will be added when you set the background image. The image path stores this. Can you output this to an empty file? No, not empty file. Can you output your findings to a .md file? Please analyze this and try to figure out, when I added an image to my project, it never actually created a background property in my settings. Can you fix this if there's an issue? That's a good strategy I've been doing a lot, is basically you can use these faster things to kind of get a quick output of what's going on. And then I want to get this output moved into Claude Code. And the only way to do it is you can make an MD file, takes like 3 seconds, drop the MD file in Claude Code, and then you can have Claude Code churn on that and start further diving into like fixing the potential bug. I've done this the other way around too. Like, I'll have Claude Code after I've implemented a huge feature that touched like 30 files. I'll tell it to generate MD file to summarize everything. And then I'll drop that in the Cursor so I can kick off Gemini or kick off Codex 5.1 to fix a potential bug with it. That's a super good strategy if you're doing agentic coding. Highly recommend it. And so if you want to learn those type of strategies, you know, anything that I show on my stream, go check out agenticdumpstart.com. It's a course I've been working on. I kind of teach all the things I've been learning along the way, building out Automaker, building out, in fact, Agentic Jumpstart. This whole thing is built using AI. Like, I literally used AI for every single feature here. And so I'm going to show you my workflows, my tips and tricks that I learned along the way to build out applications by using Claude Code and Cursor, and how to become better at these type of tools. But if you don't want to pay for it, you can join the Discord, by the way. We have a Discord, which if you want to talk to some cool people, go here. There's a Discord. I recommend it. If you guys are interested in AI, I recommend joining the Discord. What am I using for voice dictation? I'm using Super Whisper. Why not use something like a SQL database? Because Claude Code has access to your project files. And so you can ask Claude Code to do anything with this Automaker stuff. In fact, you could say, hey, I want you to go through all these features, and I want you to go through one by one, and I want you to create GitHub issues for all these. And it's going to run through all your feature JSON, and it's going to create GitHub issues. I grant that, I guess you could do a SQLite MCP type of thing so it can access your SQL server. But I just find it more convenient that a developer can come in here and actually like modify these things, versus if it's in a database, it's harder to run locally. You have to have some type of like SQLite browser, you know? So that's the reason why we're just storing project related settings here. And then also your like global settings go in an app directory, an app data directory. All right. Yeah, I need to do more self-promoting of this project. It's just, honestly, it's a lot of work. I'm hoping that people maybe in the community can help promote it a little bit. Like people who like watching me and they support me. If you don't have money to support me, you can go and like share Automaker, like share the repo to people. They can go check it out. Or you can just contribute to it. I mean, if you have a bug that you found, you want to fix it, make a pull request. There's a huge project that costs millions. If it wasn't Codex, we as a team wouldn't never be able to deliver it. Yeah, I mean, these tools are amazing. Hey, thank you for the super chat, Leon. Thank you for adding so much value to the dev and agentic coding community. You as well, man. I appreciate all the stuff you've been helping me with and being able to chat with you. It's nice being able to find people who actually enjoy this stuff. Like, when it comes to AI coding and agentic coding, you kind of feel like you're alone, you know? It's like everyone just hates on it. I get angry comments all the time. People think you're dumb for using AI, and it's the other way around for me. Like, I think people who don't use this stuff, they're probably just in their infancy of coding, or they're like the 30-year in the industry who like don't like new things, and they're very like anti everything because they think they can do it better. So thank you, Leon, for, you know, supporting the channel, supporting my endeavors. I got your back too, so if you ever want me to make a video promotion on anything, just let me know. So if you know that X tokens cost Y, and you know that you have spent Z tokens, and total cost is tokens. If you do it this way, you don't have to hack at usage. You're limiting here quite a lot. Well, I think, I guess, I just don't care about tracking usage, honestly. Like, I want to ship stuff. I'm not going to limit myself if I'm like about to hit a usage limit, you know? And I don't think most people using Automaker are going to be using API tokens. They're going to be using probably their OAuth tokens or the CLI subscription. It just doesn't make sense. Like, that's a lot of money using an API key to do this type of stuff instead of like using the actual subscriptions. But we will add in tracking. Sebastian, we will add in tracking. We just got to figure it out. I just don't want to add in that pull request that violates the terms of the service of Anthropic. By the way, join our Discord, Sebastian. It seems like you have some good ideas. We could definitely use some good ideas. Does Automaker have a background yet? Well, what does that mean? Why would a dev be going into 100 little files like that? I guess give me a reason why I should be using SQLite over what we're doing. Like, if you can give me a strong argument why. Like relational data, maybe? We just haven't had a need for it, right? And until we hit that roadblock, I can do one prompt to refactor to use SQLite. I'm not going to add in additional tooling until we've hit that complexity point where it's like, okay, this is necessary now. To become an AI software engineer, full stack oriented, where can I find good resources to start with? You can go check out Leon's channel. He does a lot of agentic coding. I'm trying to do more agentic coding on my channel. I have a course that teaches agentic coding. Honestly, the best way is get a subscription and just like play around with it. Start prompting. Start trying Gemini. Start trying Opus. Start trying GPT 5.2. Every day a new model comes out. Try it out. See how it does. See what it's good at. See what it's bad at. Find ways to really leverage these tools. Like, one cool trick I'll show you guys is often I'm making changes in this project and I'll break tests, right? And so I want to talk about an agentic loop where you can basically say, I want you to run the tests, and if you find a failure, I want you to identify the differences, do a git diff on my project against main. What did I change? And look at the implementation that I changed. If it seems like I changed the implementation or the core business requirements, then I want you to go and update the test to match those changes. If not, I want you to then fix the implementation so that the test will pass. Continue to do this until all the tests are passing in a loop. This one is invaluable. Like, basically telling Composer or telling Claude Code, just do it over and over again. And you'll see this thing basically just keep on looping. It keeps running your tests. It notices that one fails. It goes and it looks into making it pass. You make it loop again. It just literally, you sit here and you watch it. It just keeps going and going and going. And then it fixes everything. So I think the agentic loop is a very powerful tool that you can do. Really, all you have to do is just say like, hey, keep doing it until you figure it out. I've been having a lot of fun using that when trying to build out Automaker, honestly. Okay, what else can we do here? I'm doing more yapping than I am coding, but I mean, that's why I do live streams, right? So what we're trying to test out is when I added a image, it didn't actually add like a property file here. And so when I came back and added this project, it was like gone. So let's go here. I'm going to add a different file. Here we go, background board. So it got fixed. Tells us the location of it. Now this will be problematic if someone else clones my repo. This will break. I think maybe a relative path here might be better. I'm noticing that you're storing an absolute path to the image. This is going to be problematic because multiple people could clone this repo and want to share the Automaker file. Actually, is that a problem? Why would someone else want my background for my project? I don't think it's a problem. These should be user specific. I don't think we should be sharing these things. Right now I have the entire Automaker project on Get Ignored, but technically if you're working on a team and you wanted to share features, you could probably commit them. But we're not really developing for like a team-based, you know, linear or GitHub issues type of thing. We're trying to make this like you are a solo dev, you want to ship fast, you want to make some features and track your projects. At least that's where I'm taking it. Maybe along the road we can make it even more complex, but yeah, so we're storing all this stuff now. It's pretty cool. What branch am I on? I'm on main. So what do I fix here? We added the command enter for that, the background stuff, the Kanban board. Oh yeah, let's check out the Kanban items. So right now, this manual verification required, medium priority. I'm just going to try to refactor this. I'll probably do a new terminal here since this is like a brand new request. So we're going to go back over here. The manual process required and also the priority take up too much space in the card. Can you put them as small little badges or tags that would live under the category on the same row? And then I'm actually going to tag Kanban board or Kanban card because I know where this is. If you can tag where it is in the code, then you're doing agentic coding. If you don't know where it is in the code, you're vibe coding, okay? So make sure you know where stuff is in your code base so that you can tag it. I'm going to add all this before I break something. Let me undo this one. And then while that's cooking, I'm just going to check out a new branch, and I will call this persist background settings. And then for right now, I'm going to add all this stuff. And then we just let AI do that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm always, let me read this comment. Young Gone Dev says, at the same time, it is more beneficial for us, quote, the AI hate. We can deliver faster than them, and in the end, that's all that matters. And in my opinion, I'm always trying to look out for like securing my career. And if I see something in the industry that's pivoting or changing, I'm going to jump on it because I want to secure my career. Okay. Now, granted, I'm in a different position because I've been coding for 13 years. So I have a lot of that underlying foundational knowledge of front-end, back-end, DevOps, infrastructure, how to scale up applications. And so when it comes to prompting, I know what to add into the prompt to make sure I'm taking some slop code that's generated from AI and taking it to be a little bit more maintainable, to make it be well-tested. I will say that a lot of stuff in Automaker is kind of slop because it's a side project. But at work, you know, you have to slow down. You have to do the proper code reviews. You have to make sure you're asking all the right questions. But sometimes it's like for Automaker, I'll just ship a feature out there because I want to make a video to market it. So there are trade-offs, and I want to make that apparent that, like, depending on the risk of the project, like if you're working at a bank, you're working at a healthcare system, you're working on a huge project that cannot go down, this type of coding is probably a little bit more risky. You can still use AI to help review your code and to help you write code faster, but like there's going to be a lot of red tape and process in between the getting it done and getting it to production that you basically just have to slow down and do it the traditional coding way. There's no getting around that. And so I do understand the hesitancy of using AI because it can ship security vulnerabilities. It can mess up your code base. It can throw in random bugs. But it's all about context, right? My channel, it's a little side hustle. I do side hustles on this channel. I do side projects on this channel. I'm trying to build like a SaaS product that can bring me in some side revenue, right? And so if that's the context, then I don't care as much of making sure that every single feature is 100% not going to break something because I don't have enough users on these projects to like really care. Just keep that in mind. So I know people like to hype AI, and I just want to make sure you understand my perspective that I still think traditional coding is important and it's almost necessary in high-risk projects. And I'm not just pushing AI because I think it's going to replace everything. I just think it's a tool for very certain niches and certain circumstances that it's good to kind of be aware of, you know? I think future SaaS is literally going to be sandbox. You have your own backend access and developer mode access. You can mutually directly in the browser using AI, and you can even deploy to environments. Yeah, I think we're gonna automate everything soon. Like I think Lovable and these other applications where you can like build out the application in a web browser. I think that's kind of where we're gonna go towards. But at the same time, like if we still can't trust the outputs of an LLM, we have to review the code. And as long as we're reviewing the code, we're going to be doing stuff like this. We're going to be using Cursor. We're going to be using Claude Code in a terminal. We're going to be reviewing pull requests. And that's not going to go away until the LLMs can be like 100% accurate and not ship bugs, which I don't think is going to happen. Like, I don't think it's even possible. What do you think the future of SaaS is going to be? Are we all going to be full AI agents, or is there a chance to survive? I think there's a chance to survive. I think right now in 2025, there are going to be people who are reluctant to use AI. There are people who don't want to use AI. They think that AI is, you know, they're letting their ego get in the way of like a tool that's actually useful. They think they're better than the AI. And if you are on the opposite side of that spectrum and you're the person who's embracing the AI, you're going to be able to ship so much faster if you can do this stuff correctly. And I think that's how you're going to secure your future. I mean, there's even companies right now, they're going to interview you and they're going to say you can use AI, and they're going to judge your performance based on if you're like reaching out to these agents to help you debug issues. Like, do you sit there for 30 minutes trying to solve a leak code problem? Or are you asking an LLM along the way for help? How can I make it more performant? How can I make it more secure? How can I make the code a little bit more maintainable? How can I dry up the code to pull out magic numbers to the top? These are the things that you have to start getting good at, in my opinion. How do you keep sharp if you're, I don't know. I don't know how to answer these questions, honestly. Really cool project, Cody. I created that PR for token usage tracking, but I understand your concerns. Anyway, for anyone who wants this right now, they can just install Claude Usage Tracker from GitHub. Hey, yeah, thanks for the pull request, man. We're still debating it. I'm not going to like not merge it. I want to talk with the core contributors to make sure that this isn't potentially an issue. But I do think we need to add in usage, so we're going to keep that pull request open for sure. Is there another way to ask for adjustments if the task's waiting for approval? Right now, I'm just moving to in progress again. Yeah, there's a refine button. Is there not a refine button? Wait, did my cards just go? I think that might be a bug. Hold on. Oh, it's asking me stuff. I hate when Claude Code like asks for clarifications because I always forget about this. Where should the category text and badges appear in the card? Okay, just do that. Hey, what's up, chats? If AI somehow becomes deterministic, then I can see many things changing regarding software development. Yeah, I think so. Would it be worth getting a certificate? I think a certificate can help get a job, maybe. But in my opinion, I would not, like, if someone gave me a resume and I saw AWS certificate, that means nothing to me, in my opinion. Like, in the interview, I would load up the AWS dashboard and I would say, walk me through the services you know. And I bet you, even after taking the certificate, you would struggle to walk through that dashboard, because I don't think the certificate actually shows you even understand what these services do, how to configure them, how to actually like hook stuff together. But I mean, if you can afford it, it doesn't hurt to take it, because they do expose you to different things that AWS provides for you. So I'm not going to say don't take it. And I do think some people might put more emphasis on it, because it's going to help you like look a little bit better than other people who don't have the certificate. And some jobs actually require certificates. Like, there's some contracts that I've seen where it says you cannot work on this project unless you have AWS certificates, which is crazy in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, I guess you could take them. Have you heard about context engineering? It's basically a way to make AI cheaper by capturing all the context that more advanced models need to solve a problem before attempting to solve it. Yeah, so I mean, like, basically, I mean, I think I've been doing context engineering on when I do development, basically. Like, you basically take all the information and try to distill it down to the key parts and then give it to the AI to help implement it. My developer could code it, but it'll take so long. I found the whole vibe coding community and managed to get it coded in one day. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stories like this. I've even talked to really experienced engineers, and like, he's saying that he outsourced some features to a team, and the team said that they use AI coding and they use Claude Code. And in his contract, he said, you guys have to use Claude Code. It turns out that these people were not using Claude Code. They were using like Copilot, and they were not able to get these features done. And so he said, you know what, screw you guys. He loaded up Claude Code. He basically implemented all the features in a day. He went back to the company and said, listen, I got all these features done in a day with Claude Code. I don't think I want to work with you guys anymore. Like, seriously, this is how powerful these tools are, is that you can just get normal developers who like reach out to a company like, hey, I just need some help implementing these features. Can you just do it for me? And they're struggling to do it. And then you do it yourself in like one prompt. And you're like, okay, what's going on? Like, why are you guys using Copilot when there's tools that are like so much better? What's up, Imperium? How's it going? I remember seeing your face. Did you leave a YouTube comment, or were you on the Discord? I think I remember seeing you. Welcome to the stream. From an interview perspective, how much depth is actually expected in JavaScript or React compared to smaller libraries like Framer Motion? Bro, I cannot help you with interviews, honestly. Like, every person in an interview is going to ask you various questions that try to like gatekeep you, honestly. Like, no one knows how to interview properly. They could ask you a question about anything. And then if you answer it wrong, that could be it. If they're having a bad day and they feel like you didn't answer the question correctly, they're going to be like, oh, this guy doesn't really have the necessary skills to be at our company. And they basically just gatekeep you from a 30-minute interaction and judge all your experience from one question that you didn't answer right. So I don't know how to help you with interviews. It's just a hard process. The local store is updated immediately, but the server persists, happens asynchronously. Missing error propagation, medium priority. Yeah, we have so many AI code reviewers now. I think, is Claude Code even going on this? Let's see. Yeah, we got 3 different AI review systems on this project. That's crazy. Claude Code, Code Rabbit, Gemini. It's cooking. What is this? Did Claude Code make a pull request against mine? Introduce use board background settings hook for managing. What is that? Skipped check. Did it like make a pull request onto my thing? No, I don't know. Okay, this looks good. All right, so let's try out. I think there's a little issue when I switch branches. I'm still trying to figure out the cards. From a user's perspective, right now, all the cards are scoped per branch. So if I make cards that are specific for a branch, they will not show up unless you go back to that branch. And the same thing works for work trees as well. Where's my work tree button? That's a bug. Let me go make sure my enable automated testing, enable work tree isolation. Oh, that's why it's not showing up. Okay, there we go. So we got work trees now. I need you to build out a Kanban card that has a red border when it's high priority. What was up here before? I'm gonna do this. Here's a cool strategy, you guys. Pay attention to this one if you guys want to learn some agentic coding stuff. So I like to take a screenshot. And by the way, this is all on my course. I do talk about this stuff in my course. Take a screenshot of what you want and draw a little arrow. I want this thing to go up. I want this thing to go over here. I want this thing to go right here. And then I take another screenshot of this thing. I go back to Claude Code and I paste it in. Although, why did I put it there? It's kind of weird. Maybe they changed the interface. Can you further refactor the cards? I want the badges and icons to go to the top left. And I want you to move the category underneath the badges. Look at the attached image so you can see exactly, look at the red arrows to see where you should put these things. Yeah, and I guess one thing I'll state is that even though we have these tools and help you code a lot faster, it's not all about coding. Building a good user interface, building a good product, well designed, it flows well. That takes you sitting here and thinking. Sometimes I'll just sit here and play around with the app for like 20 minutes. Literally just making random cards, kicking them in progress, seeing how they do. And then I'll get like a list in my head of like, okay, I want to change this because it feels like a bad user experience. Like these buttons need to be reduced in size. They're just too large. And like you can't code your way. I mean, I guess you could go to Gemini and say, hey, can you just ideate and try to find ways to make the user experience great? But I have not seen great results every time. It's kind of inconsistent. Sometimes it'll give you good ideas, sometimes it won't. And sometimes just naturally, like organically, just looking at your application and just like putting a pause on the AI stuff. How can I make this better? If I'm a user who's a vibe coder, how can I make it better for them? If I'm a user who's a power user with coding and using Claude coding, using 6 terminals when they code, how can I make that better for them? Okay, well, we could probably add a terminal, right? We can add a terminal. We want to be able to split the terminal. We made it better for the power user. For the vibe coder, how can we make it better for them? And that's something that like an AI can help you with, but sometimes you have to actually like just make the decisions and figure out the better way to build it, I guess I can say. Why Claude Code instead of Open Code? Just because a lot of people have Claude Code subscriptions, and Claude Code Opus 4.5, in my opinion, is still the best model. And so why not just use the best model, get the most bang for your buck with the Claude Code subscription? And that's why we're wrapping Claude Code. Open Code's great too, but like paying for API usage. I mean, I guess you could probably, I don't know, does Open Code support like the OAuth tokens for Claude? Have you tried Figma MCP to code Cody? I'm trying to use it, but it doesn't seem to be doing a great job, especially for CSS code quality and a little bit complex parts. I'm using Gemini 3 Pro, by the way. I haven't used the Figma MCP. Do you think that AI entrepreneurship is the right career move right now? It feels like a gold rush for smaller businesses. Potentially. I mean, I guess you'd have to describe what do you encompass AI entrepreneurship. I think right now, one thing I could probably do is become an AI consultant. So I could probably go into large companies and train their engineers how to use certain tools to become more efficient at their job, how to think agentically to really improve their own devs operating process. Because there's a lot of devs right now who don't even use AI. They don't even know how powerful these tools are. They literally do not know how powerful these tools are. They don't know how to even prompt. They don't know how to think through the problem and solve it. And so, like, if you can't solve the problem and think through how to solve it on paper, you're not going to be able to write it down and have an LLM do it for you. And so I think there's a huge business in that. Going into larger corporations, they could probably pay a lot of money. You come in there, you do like seminars, you do workshops, you show them all the tools. You could get sponsors with other AI companies, like Cursor could sponsor you to go to these companies and pitch their tooling. I think we even had Warp at our company come in. Like Warp Terminal came in and like started pitching their product to us and showing how it worked. And I'm like watching it. I'm like, man, this. If you can get good at convincing people to use a tool, like you can probably be really, really valuable to these companies. Other than that, I mean, AI entrepreneurship, you could try to build tools that are centered around AI. You could build websites that are centered around using AI, but. Let me go check something real quick. All right, I keep coughing. I've been fighting like a cough for the past month now. So I think it's kind of going away now, but there's something going around. My whole family was coughing. I don't have my Stream Deck set up. I have a mute key. All right, let's see. What was I doing? I was trying to add a card. Oh my gosh, it still asks me for stuff. Oh, look at this. It's giving us a little diagram. It knew exactly what it's talking about. Yes, just do it. Now, I will be honest, when I'm not streaming, I kind of lock in a little bit harder with agentic coding. I'll have like 3 or 4 or 5 terminals going, modifying different pages at the same time. On a stream, I spend a lot of time talking to chat, taking it slow, and then also like I'm intentionally trying to make sure that the user experience is a little bit better. So I don't want to just ship a bunch of random features. Because I've used Automaker to build out SaaS products, right? I've used it, I let it run for like all night. I go and I check the app and it works. Like you can click buttons, but again, the user experience is just not good. Like someone can look at this app and like be like, oh, this is just AI generated. It works, but it's just not amazing. What is going on here? Oh my gosh. Okay, so here is something I might actually just I might fix myself in a second. If Composer can't do it, there's way too much padding between the category and the badges at the top. Can you fix this? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and kick off the Kanban. Now, what I like to do is sometimes I'll race the AI. I'll go and figure out where I can find the high priority item. Tooltip content. We got a tooltip. So here are the badges, the priority badges. We got the error badge, manual verification badge. Do we have a category? Here's a category row. And so if you can find these things, I'm sure there's a way I could just basically fix them by hand, because Composer 1 just didn't do it either. I think it's because of the flex. I think there's like a flex gap between these things. And so what I'm going to have to do is actually get my hands a little bit dirty. And this is where knowing how to code is actually very useful. Because if you don't know how to do this, you're not going to be able to fix bugs like this. Like, you're going to keep on prompting Gemini to fix it for you, or Opus to fix it for you. You're going to burn through your credits. You're going to be sitting here twiddling your thumbs. That's kind of a weird bug. When the dev tools are open, like, they get squished. Got to fix that. All right, let's just go and look at where some of the stuff is coming from. So I'm pretty sure it's coming from the gap. There must be a flex. Let me look at this whole thing. Yes, the gap. So the question is, what do I want to do? Do I want to get rid of the gap? Gap 6. There's a gap 6. So I like to just copy the whole string here to find exactly where the component is in code. Check this out. You go to the code base. You go, you find it. Boom. We're right there. I know how to fix this. I can make it a gap of 1. And then we can go back to the app. Just do a hard refresh. And I still want to make this on the same row. So like, I might just do this. Please move the high priority and the manual badges up. They need to be on the same row of which the delete button is on. Composer 1 is really fast at refactoring. Sometimes it's inaccurate, so do pay attention to that. It might break your code. But I like using Composer 1 for just like moving stuff around. And I can tell you right now, this is much faster than you doing it by hand. Because then I have to go and find out where these cards are. Move the HTML all around. This card's actually getting pretty long. It's almost like 800 lines of code. Oh, 1,000 lines of code. So I'm going to show you something really cool in the stream. We're going to refactor this. There you go. It's fixed. Looks pretty good. This I don't like here. I would rather have these be... Like, what's this empty space here? Great job. I think you fixed it. But there's a small little issue at the bottom of the card. I want the buttons to be all the way aligned to the very end of the card. There's like this gap right now that you need to get rid of. Now, I'm kind of being lazy. I probably should have taken a screenshot and draw an image over this gap. That's something, sometimes you have to figure out the best approach to the visual stuff. Because sometimes I'll make a screenshot and I'll like circle something or put an X on something. And it really like dives down to like, did you circle the wrong thing, or did you do the X the wrong way? There's a gap here I got to get rid of too. Okay, this didn't work. It's okay, I can fix this in a little bit. There's like still a weird gap here. Whatever, I'll just fix it now. It shouldn't be that hard to fix a bug. I mean a card. Like, what is this? There's literally like an empty thing here. I don't know what that's even for. Oh, that's if there's an error. So I'm going to move that out. Oh, nice. I totally broke it. Let me go back. Oh my gosh, what did I do? This is why you gotta commit your code often. There we go. Alright, let's just slow down and try to figure this out. Let's close this error thing. This stuff I hate with cursor. Like, cursor needs to get rid of this stuff. It just makes it so hard to do your code reviews. Block dependencies. Blocked by... Oh, no, I get the code. I understand it now. Do I? Yeah, let me reprompt this thing. This whole div should only show if there's actually an error or if there's a block card or something. Rearrange it so that the conditional wraps the entire div. Okay, I'm pretty sure that will fix my issue. Yeah, that fixed it. Now the badges. Hard header. Let's make sure that works. I know, I could just be prompting AI, right? But sometimes you just saw like it just doesn't do what you want, and then you have to kind of like correct it yourself and make sure you understand the code base, because okay, do I want to add a margin there? Is this the card header? Yeah, I like that. I think 2 is probably good. No, I like 4 better. All right, so we're going to find this area. Wait, where'd it go? Okay, that looks better. A little bit gap down here. I guess I could try to figure out how to do this. I don't know why it's not like going to the thing when I click it. It's so weird. You know, whatever. Let's just commit this before I mess stuff up. Which AI am I using and how much does it cost? I switch between a lot of different models. I have a Claude Code subscription. Usually I do the $100 a month. At the start of this project though, I did... Oh, is my screen not sharing? What's going on here? Sometimes my screen gets like stuck. I don't know how long it's been stuck there for. But yeah, my main is Opus 4.5. That's the main model. And then I switched to Composer 1 for like refactoring tasks. I will use Gemini 3 for like UI related refactorings to make it look nicer. What did I say? Gemini 3 Pro? Yeah. Codex 5.1. I haven't even tried 5.2 yet. But 5.1 is pretty good at solving bugs. How can you code like that? There is way too much going on. I think the stream froze. Your camera's okay, but the stream is frozen a couple seconds. Yeah, I just fixed it. Sorry. I mean, sometimes I move too fast. And I feel like it's a deterrent. It ends up making me move slower because I'm trying to move too fast. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of like my workflow, right? I'll switch between using these models. I'll do cursor sometimes. Sometimes I'll go straight to the board. I'll try to refactor it myself. But should visit the doctor if you cough more than 2 weeks. Yeah, I probably should. You can't teach people how to think, bro. That's a personal problem. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, as long as you have like an Opus 4.5, like by far that's like the best model that I've seen. Now, it's not perfect. There's sometimes I keep prompting Opus over and over again and it cannot figure it out. And then I throw it in GPT 5.1 codex. First try fixes the issue. So don't get too reliant on one model. I think doing the multi-model approach to agentic coding is the way you need to do it. Each of these models have their strengths and their weaknesses from what I've seen. Don't even listen to the benchmarks. These models can win the benchmarks all day, but when it comes to actually like boots on the ground testing them out, 9-day difference. What is your thoughts on using local AI? I just don't think it's worth it. I would rather just pay a little bit of extra money to have these like data centers that have these really good graphics cards to process all my requests. There's no way with how much sometimes I'll have like 7 Claude Code instances going, all doing stuff at the same time. There's no way a local model on my MacBook is going to be able to handle that unless I have a supercomputer running locally. Can you change the Automaker logo? It's so AI-ish. Yeah, maybe at some point. We've already kind of iterated it on a couple of times. But we're trying to make it simple. You know, it's just simple. Is it AI-ish just because it has like a gradient on it? You were able to do that without touching the code, and how was the code quality? Meaning where are the parts that is used position? I don't know what you're saying here. I think the main issue with agentic coding is that anyone can now build small, mid-sized projects, but these kind of projects are not enough now to get money from them unless you have a unique idea. I don't think that's true. I think if you have good marketing, you can make money with anything. If you can convince the masses to buy your app, pay $9 for a one-time purchase, and convince 10,000 people to do it, congrats, you just made like what? $100,000? Or if you can convince like 100 people to sign up for a $10 a month subscription, there's $1,000 a month in your pocket. Or is that 10,000? $100 a month for $10? My basic math is bad, huh? Alright, let's see if this one's gonna pass. I might just merge this one in. Let's see. Some comments are outside the diff. Now, when I was coding, again, this is why I recommend agentic coding, is like you should review the code. This file is huge. This file is way too big. A Kanban card should not be 13,000 lines of code. That is a problem. And I'm going to show you refactoring live on this stream in just a second. Which, by the way, refactoring is also something I talk about in my Agentic Jumpstart course. So if you want to check out my course, I have 73 videos, over 11.5 hours of content. I've been adding videos almost every day, just of new stuff I'm learning along the way. So if you want to learn about Claude Code or Cursor or Agentic Coding, go check it out. I'll put the link. Sorry for the plug, guys, but it is what it is, you know? Gotta make a living somehow. Soon, Apple will enter the AI compute race as a real competitor to NVIDIA. I don't know where Apple's doing. Apple, like, the iPhone text-to-speech, or speech-to-text is just so bad. I don't know what Apple's doing, but they need to up their game because the fact that I can speak into my phone and it just cannot recognize half the words I'm saying, that's a problem. It would be nice to be able to move tasks to in... Oh, yeah, I'll take a screenshot of that one. I'll put it in the Discord. Where's my screenshot? Let's grab it. Gemini 3 Flash better than Composer 1. I haven't tried Gemini 3 Flash. I need to. I'm the type of content creator who's not on top of all these latest and greatest models. When I find a workflow that works for me, I'm very reluctant to like switch out to a new model until I see people posting about it and I watch like a Theo video and he says that it's, you know, better. And then I read through the comments because the comments are really where I get my information from. It's not from the YouTubers, honestly, it's from the comments. Because the people in the comments are the ones who cook. These are the people who will sit there for like 8 hours trying Gemini 3 Flash and they'll leave a comment and they'll say that it's, you know, it's basically the same or it's so much better. I'm a YouTuber, you know, I mean, I know making the click big titles. I can make a video right now on Gemini 3 Flash just destroyed Composer 1. I could make a video like that, get a bunch of views, but it's probably not true. I mean, it's probably like a teeny bit better if it's even better at all. Have I tried Verdant or Warp? I have not. Like I said, I found a workflow that works, and unless that new workflow that is being introduced can like expedite my efficiency, I probably won't really even try it out. Unless they want to give me a sponsor video. Pay me money, I can make a video about it. All right, what we're going to do is check to see if this thing's done. It's green. I'm just going to merge it. There are some things that we need to basically... All right, we're going to do a big refactoring. This is going to be fun. Git stash. Git checkout main, git pull, clear it out, git checkout. I'm going to say refactor, Kanban, card. All right, we're on our branch now. Why does it say publish branch? It shouldn't be saying publish. Whatever, I'll just publish it. Okay, so for refactoring, what I like to do, honestly, I like using Composer 1. Opus will sometimes do it more accurately, but we're going to kick off Composer 1, and then I'm going to drag in the card. I'm noticing that this Kanban card is getting huge. It's way too large of a file. We need to break it into smaller subcomponents and put those subcomponents in a directory co-located next to the Kanban board so I can easily maintain this in the future. I'm going to go over here. Components. I'm going to actually make one called Kanban card. I'm going to drag this in here. I'm going to rename this to index. Actually, I won't rename that. I will not rename that. And just to make sure this doesn't mess up the... put that there. I made a directory called Kanban card. Make sure you put all the subcomponents of the Kanban card that you feel like you should pull out into that directory. After making this change, I want you to rerun the unit test and end-to-end test over and over again until you manage to get this all working. Do not break the existing functionality. I just need you to move some components around. I think that's a good first iteration. Okay, so it's pulling out the card badges. I'm hoping at the end this Kanban card will probably be around 400, 500 lines. I'm telling you, this is the thing that like blows me away. This type of refactoring would have taken so long manually. I have done so many full stack YouTube tutorials on my channel, and something like this probably would have taken me like 10-20 minutes of like going, grabbing the related things, pulling them out to a file. I have to make the new file first, or I could probably highlight it and say extract to whatever, And then I have to go and pass the props in properly and make sure that, I lift state up properly or have some type of Zustand store to manage all this stuff. Now I just one prompt, and I might have to come back and do one more follow-up prompt or maybe kick it into GPT 5.1 to fix up a bug. But I've done this enough where like it basically just works the first time. And especially that agentic loop I put at the end to basically just keep on running the tests until they all pass. It's crazy times we're living in. Okay, it looks like it's done. It's running the test right now, so I can actually go back to the UI and see if it's still working. I mean, the card still loads. Everything looks good. So I like to do little spot checks along the way, make sure it's still good. I can still delete. All right, let's look at the actual overall. How big is this file now? 369. Got the card actions, delete confirmation dialog, agent info panel. I'm sorry, this isn't even the full potential of AI. What you can do is I can kick off. Let me plug in my phone real quick. I can kick off Claude Code or Composer. It doesn't really matter, right? You can do this in iterations. It doesn't have to be perfect. But I'd kick off Claude Code and I can say, hey, I need you to spin up 10 sub-agents to go through my whole code base and identify which files have the most lines of code and seem like they're the most overly complex. And then write all that out to an MD file with 3 categories: high, medium, and low in terms of how strongly you recommend I refactor these files because they're too complex. And then I can basically just drag all those into separate tabs in Composer 1 and tell Composer 1 to refactor these into smaller components like I just did. In fact, after this thing is done, I could probably say, hey, Composer 1, create a markdown file that documents how you just refactored this code to make it cleaner so that I can use that markdown file to apply it to other agents in the future. And then I can kick off 10 different agents, modifying those 10 different high priority features. And like you'll see this same process happen concurrently with 10 Composer agents, just pulling out one component into many, many different smaller things. And it's not until you start trying this stuff that you're like, oh, AI kind of sucks, and then you do that and you start realizing how powerful this stuff is with the parallel processing, or excuse me, the concurrent processing of agents over an entire code base. And you have 200 file changes, something that would have taken you days to do, done in like 5 minutes. Hey, I appreciate that, Code Smart. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, honestly, if Composer 1 could get a little bit more accurate, I would get off of Opus. Opus is so much slower compared to Composer. I don't even use Opus for refactoring. I use Opus 4.5 for like plan it out and do the initial feature. And I know you're going to mess it up because it always does. But then I kick that over to GPT 5.1 to fix the little bugs that Opus did. And then I kick it in the Composer 1 to refactor it to make it cleaner. And then I have it run the tests, do a security review, do a performance and analysis review, keep on refactoring. And I guess all these things I'm talking about, eventually I'm going to have this hooked into Automaker as a workflow. So like you'll have one task, it's going to go to in progress, it's going to implement it, it's going to go to a security review. If it fails, it's going to go back to in progress to fix it. Then it's going to go through there and it's going to go to a code review. It's going to refactor it to fix any code smells, pull out magic numbers, refactor into the smaller components, kick it back to in process, do the security review again, go back to the code review. Like, we can automate all this. This whole thing could be automated. I'm just sitting here basically telling it to run a next MD file over my code base. But we don't have to do that. We can fully automate a lot of this stuff. But it's going to take a while for the industry to even trust this, to even catch on to it, to even start learning how to use this stuff. But I think we're going to hit full automation here pretty soon with a lot of this stuff. And the code will not be slop, as everyone keeps coping with. Like, oh, the AI has slop. It makes slop. No, you just don't know how to properly like hook these agents up to really do fast refactorings and do thorough refactorings on your code and do security reviews. I'm telling you guys. No one believes me. What if you add a node-based page that makes this possible? So like an NAN type of thing. Yeah, we get some type of like graph, visualize some graph that kind of like you can drag an agent and have it like pass through the workflows. Or you could have one, like after the implementation, you can kick that off into 3 different agents, which will then feed the feedback into like a markdown generated agent, which will write the markdown file, and that will kick the markdown file back to your implementation that'll redo it and basically keep doing that in a loop until the code is like as highest quality as you could possibly get. You could probably put a cap on it and then pass that to a testing agent that runs your unit tests and automated tests. And if any of those fails, you kick that back to the implementation agent to fix the failing implementation or to fix the test that might have changed because the implementation changed. And then eventually you're going to get the final output, and I bet you that code's going to be perfect. It might take a lot of tokens. It might cost a lot of money, but I'm telling you. Y'all need to be thinking long term here. What if you add a node? Oh yeah, I remember that one. It's just, this one, like, I think for people who watch my channel, like my long-term subscribers, and they're frustrated that I'm doing AI stuff, it's because they don't understand. They just don't understand. I'm always like a step ahead. I'm always thinking a step ahead of like, where's the industry going? And I've seen how some of the stuff is working. And I guess I'm like dumbfounded that people are still so anti-AI. It just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like you could literally, once we have these like fully automated systems set up, one VC capitalist who has like $10,000 laying around, he'll just throw it into the Automaker. He'll just throw it into whatever. It might not even be the Automaker. He'll throw it into some system. It's going to build out an entire SaaS application. Not only that, you know how like some applications have like a bug report button? Like, oh man, if you find a bug, let us know. You can have a modal that a user types in a bug they found. That goes and kicks off into a GitHub issue. That GitHub issue automatically gets picked up by like a bug reviewing agent. That'll load up your application and verify that that's actually a bug or not. If it finds that it is a bug, it'll write up a whole bug report about it, how to reproduce it. It'll kick that off to another agent that'll basically start doing the exact same process it just talked about. Automation, man. Automation. Automate everything. All right, let's see if this works. So we have the card. It's split up into smaller little things here. Make a new one. What is up? Yeah, it looks good. All the tests pass. I'm gonna go ahead and just like commit this one, and look at that Kanban card cleaned up. There's some more things I could probably figure out. Like some of these use effects honestly could have been moved into the actual subcomponents, and so I might actually do that real quick. Can you double check the Kanban card one more time and look at all the use effects and the functions and make sure that if that function can be co-located into the component that needs it, then move it into that component. Only have things living in the Kanban board that are actually top-level state, top-level functions that need to be shared between all these subcomponents. Like, you can keep iterating on this, man. Even the music you're listening to right now, guess what track this is from? By the way, can you guys hear the music? Is it loud enough? Watch, I've been too low the whole time. -25 to -35 is a good level for streaming. I'm at... Yeah, okay. Oh, music was too low or off. Okay. How about that? Is that good for the music? All this music is AI generated. I went to 11 Labs. I generated 5 or 6 drum and bass music songs. I have an 11 Labs subscription. All this music is AI generated. Bro, I don't know. It's just crazy. Yeah, if you could make an issue for that. Do you want me to make an issue? Yeah, let me show you something. Let me do it for you. Watch this, watch this, watch this. Just check this out. A user mentioned that when he clicks on the commit button on side of a feature, it actually commits all the file changes. Can you make a GitHub issue for me in the repo for me that documents this? I don't even have to go to GitHub. It's just going to create an issue for me right there. Making a markdown file for me. Oh, did it actually work though? Sorry, I meant use the GitHub CLI tool and make one on the remote repository. I mean, is this being lazy? Absolutely. There's your feature. Oh, it even tells you what the issue is. Is that when you click on the commit button in a card, yeah, this one might be a hard one to fix because right now doing the git diffs is not 100% accurate. I don't know how we're going to solve it. I might just remove the commit button from the cards, honestly. Because we do have a way up here, you can just go and say commit changes. Because if you have like multiple things modifying your branch, it's so hard to know like which one was part of feature A, feature B, feature C, because they could overlap and modify the same file. And I just don't think it's going to be possible to like just commit the changes that were specific to a card. So I guess if you don't want things overlapping, that's why I added in work trees. You can make a new work tree and you can do the work on a separate work tree and then commit that as a separate pull request if you want to isolate those changes. Versus, yeah, I don't know if committing on separate cards is even something I want, but I'll think about it. I haven't used Suno before. I'll have to check that out. I don't think 11 Labs is meant for music. Yeah, it's definitely efficiency. But I think that's something you have to start getting used to with an agent decoder is stop clicking stuff. You don't need to be clicking around UIs. If you're clicking around UIs, you're not agent decoding. You should have MCPs that can hook up to various third-party services for configuring new things, setting up new things. Making a pull request in GitHub. There's a CLI tool you can be using and letting Composer do it for you. Pulling changes. Like, for example, all these automated agents are going to do code reviews on this issue. Or sorry, on the pull requests. And I think I showed it on the stream. You don't need to go and one by one copy and paste the review into your code base. Go to Composer 1 and say, hey, go look up the GitHub issue 191, the pull request. Pull all the comments and address them in my pull request branch and commit them for me. And you can be, you know, if you want to say only do the high priority ones from Gemini, you can do that. Or only grab the Claude review ones, you could do that. Or only grab the code Code Rabbit ones, you could be very specific in what it can grab, and you do have to be careful because sometimes some of these code reviews are, I don't know, probably not necessary. But it's getting into that mindset. How can I make this more efficient? Because these LLMs are getting better and they can do most of the things you ask them to do with like one prompt. And it's reminding yourself. It took me a long time to remind myself that, hey, just let the LLM do it. I bet you can do it faster than you can. Oh, you're stuck on a CLI terminal. You don't remember how to do something, like you don't know how to grep for something or how to do a find command to find all the JSON files that are over a certain length in your code base. I'm telling you, typing this stuff by hand, find in name, bro, I don't remember how to do this. And you shouldn't have to. Just find all the files. Find me all the files that are JSON files that have a word count length, a line count length of over 50. Like, that's all you gotta do. Boom, I just found them. Oh, it's adding node modules. Exclude node modules too. Boom, I got my whole list. These are my files. They're over 50 lines of code, all of them. So it's getting into that mindset of like, bro, you're wasting time typing. Stop typing. Start dictating. Start talking. All right, let's see what changes it did over here. Agent info panel. So it pulled some stuff out of here. We do have some hard-coded backlog things. Is this even type safe? Okay, it's type safe, so I think that's fine. But it might be good to have this be like a map or an enum or something. This being some hard-coded path here inside of this component. It's probably more business logic that should be extracted somewhere. But card badges. Yeah, let's look at the Kanban board after that. So we managed to extract all of that stuff and pull it into the subcomponents that actually care about it. And then afterwards, we are left with, what are we left with? Let me add all these things. We're left with a file that's 200. We started with 1,300 lines of code. Now we're down to 200. Granted, it took a little bit more manual reviewing the code and manually prompting Composer 1 to refactor this. But now this is much better because what I found with an LLM is when you break up your things into smaller, well-named files, the LLM uses find and it uses grep to try to find the relevant information. And so the better your code base is split up into smaller, well-named files, the less you have to tag things when you prompt it. It can just go and use a find and find what you need. And then also the context window will be shorter because all these smaller subcomponents only use up a small portion versus like when I have to go and open up a 1,300 line file that fills up the context window of Opus 4.5 or whatever, and it just makes the output a little bit less preferable. Let's go here, background settings. I can delete these things, honestly. These are just like temp MD files I like using just to help make my workflow a little bit faster. But let's test it out, make sure we didn't break anything. I mean, the cards look fine. Everything seems like it's working. There might be some use cases which are broken, but I hope not. But let's just go ahead and commit this. Yo, we're almost at 500 stars, guys. Go to Automaker. I just need 5 more stars. 5 more stars. That's it. That's all I'm asking. Excuse me. Yeah, that's fine as well. Remove the button for now. Change the commit. Mark completed as reviewed. Yeah, I might just do that right now, honestly. So now we can test the theory. I just did a big refactoring to split up the card into smaller subcomponents. Now let's test the theory. If I prompt Composer 1, can it do it? When it loads a large file, it seems to fail sometimes, but when I give it something small, can you update the Kanban card? I need you to remove the commit button, and instead I need a button that says mark as reviewed. And I'm gonna change that to verified. Verified. Oh wait, why is it? Hold on. All right, let's just kick this off. All right, I think I'm gonna end the stream here in like 10 minutes or so. I've been going at it for an hour and 50 minutes, so. Let's see, card action. So it went right to where we're looking for. It didn't even touch the other stuff. Okay, well, I guess it did touch the Kanban card. It removed the on commit. Kanban actions. Now, honestly, sometimes Composer 1 does break your code. Like, it's not the best, but it's pretty good at refactoring by far. All right, so let's test this out. We have a, I'm gonna go to a different project. Let's go to, yeah, sure, why not? We're on an icon generator. Print the words hello world to the console and do nothing else. Do not change code. I'm just testing around, pressing 1 to make sure it closes. We're done. Uh-oh, a little bug here. What's going on there? Let's just fix this real quick. I noticed that, you know, I might even do a new prompt too. Let's keep that old prompt around. Context window is key. You want a small context window for small little fixes. I noticed that the freshly cooked icon is not on the same row as the other icons. Put it on the same row. It's not even the same badge either. You gotta refactor that. Like, why is it not the same? I also noticed that the medium, high, low priority badges are not the same style as the is freshly added badge. Can you make those match the freshly added badge style and make sure we're reusing like a shared badge component or something? Anyway. How much usage I'm at. Now, luckily, Cursor seems to give a decent amount of free usage. Like, I've hit my $20 monthly usage. I'm at $11 free usage. So, like, even these prompts I'm doing right now, completely free for us to do. But it's not able to... Why did it not fix that? Okay, so here is... Hold on. Let me kick this off again. Alright, so here's another issue. Composer 1, like I said, is great at refactoring, but for like doing a simple thing, like, bro, just fix this badge. Like, sometimes you gotta kick it off to something else. Now, I might even just throw it into... I would maybe pick Gemini 3 Pro. Can you try again? It looks like the high, medium, low priority badge is still not matching the same style as the is freshly added badge. Make sure they're all reusing the same common badge component so they have the same style. Okay, Gemini 3 Pro, it's much better at UI stuff from what I've seen. And sometimes these models can't get it. The most simplest task, it's funny, the most simplest task, the models can't get it. Give them a complex task that involves like creating a schema in your database and a backend endpoint and adding authorization, authentication, and role-based authorization and connecting that to your front end with like a service and decoupling that into a use effect and pulling that out into like a React Tanstack query. Perfectly fine. It does all that stuff fine. Put two buttons on the same row and make them look the same. Bro, it struggles. Like, it's crazy. Nice, 503 stars on the repo. Let's go. Thank you all for starring. I appreciate it. Yeah, I could try to refactor those. If you send me a list of the files you found, I mean, honestly, I could just ask Composer to do it. I could just refactor those. I want to go through all the code and like make sure stuff is refactored pretty cleanly, so that it's easier for people to contribute. I won't lie, a lot of the code's pretty sloppy. We've been kind of shipping out code fast, making it just adding features so we can kind of make videos on it and market it. And we will go back and make sure the code is a little bit cleaner. And as you can see on the stream, there's a process to doing it. It's just you got to slow down a little bit. You got to review the code, analyze where it's having issues. Let's see if it fixed the cards. Bro, it still can't fix this. This is crazy. Am I in the wrong branch? Let's just do this. Okay, card badges. Let's just go do this by hand. This is what I'm saying. Like, the simplest tasks, AI cannot do sometimes. It's weird. Very strange. All right, priority badges. Now, sometimes what you got to do is find the code and actually highlight it and be like, yo, you're not doing it right. So here are the badges right here. And I want to compare this. Let me split my code. Blocked badge. I'm going to copy this code. Actually, no, I don't want to copy that code. I want to copy... let me fix this. Hold on. That's the manual process. I need to find manual. Okay. So another strategy. I'm going to copy this whole thing. This is how I want it to look. And it's not doing it right. So I'm going to go here, inline edit. I pasted an example of how I want the badges to look. They need to match almost exactly. Let me rephrase this. I pasted a code snippet how I want the badges to look in terms of styling. Now, I still want you to keep the colors and the icons to be different when it's a high, medium, or low in HTML, but make it match the same style of these badges. Inline edit with Composer. Okay. Almost. Why did it add a dot though? See, like, why is it doing some of this stuff? I didn't ask it to add a dot. Okay, we can fix... We know how to code still. I haven't forgotten. We can just go ahead and fix this. There we go. It still didn't really do it. But you know what? I think it's okay. It's a different type of badge. It kind of removed the tooltips from them though. Tooltip trigger. Yeah, let me fix the tooltips. I don't know what's going on there. For some reason, the tooltips don't seem to show when I hover over these badges. Can you debug that? I might have to get off of Composer 1. Like, it's just not doing it. I don't know why. There's something about this request. It's just... Can't figure it out. Go back to the chat real quick. Do you have a video explaining your stack? What's your voice-to-text application? I use Super Whisper. Do you feel that your development speed is decreasing without AI, or does that not bother you? It doesn't bother me. I don't want to develop without AI anymore, honestly. Like, if someone's like, hey, you got to join this project, but yeah, you can't use AI, like, I'm not going to have fun on that project. What clack noise am I using? I'm using, I think it's the cherry, the cream ones. I'm using cream. Yeah, okay. Hey, Trueheads, how's it going? So Trueheads is one of the core contributors. Everyone say hi to him. He's been helping out on this project a lot as well. I'm just gonna post your whole comment there. Can you try to make the border radius of the high, medium, and low HML priority badges match the freshly added badges? Like, make sure they're all consistent, please. Okay, someone got mad at me because I said the word please in a prompt. These people. There's so many insufferable people on YouTube comments. It's crazy. He's like, well, when you use please, it like uses more tokens and it uses more energy and you're destroying the environment. My response was, bro, in 3 seconds, my AC unit is burning more energy than my one prompt. And that's what you're going to focus your energy on, is putting please in a prompt and getting mad at me in a comment because I said, can you please do something? It's crazy. I'm telling you, YouTube comments make me lose my sanity. Like, I just have to like people and move on. Like, give them a heart and just move on or block them. I just can't do it anymore. Yeah, bro, people get mad about everything on YouTube. They're saying that when you say please, it ends up like making the output of the LLM generate more tokens because it's trying to like add in a bunch of fluff for the response, and those extra tokens cause more energy usage, which causes like, it's destroying the environment is what their argument is. You're completely destroying the environment. I'm like, no, probably running my heat right now when it's like pretty cold outside is probably destroying the environment. It's just helping you at the end of the day. I don't know. I mean, I think sometimes like the comments get to my mental state. I'm like, I need to find people I actually enjoy interacting with. And I would say that working with the people in this project, like Trueheads and the other core contributors, it's been so fun because these people actually love coding. They want to build something cool. They're excited. They know how to use AI. And it's like, bro, I found my people, you know? Which, by the way, if you want to find people kind of like that, go to Agentic Jumpstart. I got a free Discord community where me and other people have been building out Automaker. We've been kind of chatting about it. So if you want to join a place where you can talk about AI, talk about the things you've learned along the way, get tips and tricks on how to use AI better, agenticjumpstart.com. Join the Discord community. You guys like how I'm plugging my stuff now? Oh, by the way, if any Trueheads, if you're watching, I plan to add Prettier to this project and reformat every single file. I don't know how bad this is going to break for everybody, but it does a bunch of file changes. I'm kind of concerned. Maybe I'll do it like late at night when no one's working. But it literally went through every JavaScript, TypeScript file and it reformatted everything. And then I added in a Husky pre-commit hook so that when people commit, it's going to also format their stuff. I guess I'm curious what your thoughts are on that. Threatening. Yeah, the latest thing I've read from Anthropic is they're saying you should be very, very neutral in the way you're asking your prompts if you want to get just like results. Just be very direct. Tell it what you want. Don't throw in any additional things. I notice there's a bug here. Go fix it. But oh my gosh, what is it doing? Oh my gosh. All right, this is one of those things I'm gonna have to fix by hand. Maybe there's just not enough width on this thing. What is going on? Why is there a question mark now? Okay, I'm gonna undo this stuff. Bro, I'm telling you, why can't AI do the simplest thing? It can do the most complex tasks in the world. One-shot prompts, front end, back end, database, schema changes, run migration scripts, run your incident tests over and over again until they all pass. To make these match, it's been 20 minutes now. We can't get these things matching. And it's like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna have to fix it by hand. I will literally just fix it by hand. If I actually like stash these changes though. Oh yeah, we got rid of the commit stuff. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna commit it. They don't look perfect, but I will fix this later because I am gonna end the stream now in a second. All right. What PR is that? 504 stars. Let's go. Format everything and add Husky. Okay, add Claude usage tracker. Did I not make a pull request for this one? I guess I didn't. So this is splitting up the Kanban card into multiple smaller components to make it a little bit cleaner, because before it was getting unwieldy. Okay. But yeah, let me just go ahead and finish up with chat real quick. Pause the music. That was a fun stream. You guys have fun? Yeah, I know it's probably a super simple issue. And also I broke the tooltips of that branch, so probably later I'll come back and fix it. Or if you want to go, excuse me, check out that branch and fix it for me, I'd much appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, someone said something about juniors. Let's see. I feel bad for the juniors entering the market. I learned how to think in systems code patterns before leaning into AI. Juniors simply hope for the best in my experience. Yeah, it's gonna be a very interesting transition period. And I feel bad for their interview processes because they're going to go to interviews. Some people are going to expect them to use AI. Some of them are not. They're going to get judged for asking too many questions in AI. They're going to get judged for not using AI enough. They're going to sit there and try to solve a leak code problem that literally has nothing to do with their day job, but they're going to get gatekeeped because these interviewers have literally no idea how to interview people. They don't know how to actually look for talent. Do these people, are they curious? You want to get a job, you need to be curious. You need to be interested. You need to be like enthusiastic about what you're trying to do. Like you can learn how to like do these coding things, but like it's just more than that. But I feel like people in interviews that like ask a bunch of pre-canned questions. Oh, he didn't have these things memorized. Oh, this guy sucks. Why would I memorize these things? Why? Why would I memorize how to reverse a binary tree? How does that help me? You know? So these juniors, it's going to be so hard for them to get a job. And especially like, I don't know. I'm just kind of jaded. Yeah, cool, man. Have fun. Planning to take a break too. The LMs may simply become the decision engines as well. They're not smart enough yet. I think we're going to definitely need a person in the middle, like a human in the mix. Human in the loop, I think is what they call it. Or really like fine tune and drive it in the right direction. Yeah, it's like, bro, I did an interview that allowed AI usage. And he's like, okay, I need you to build something. And I basically just, as he was talking, I loaded up, I was sharing my screen. I loaded up an MD file. I started listing out every single requirement as he was speaking it to me. Because it didn't have it like pre-made for me. Listed it all out. When he was done talking, I dropped it in the composer. It went back and it generated the entire class one shot. And then he like asked for some refinements and I did the same thing. I did get the job. I'm not I don't have enough technical depth. But whatever. Give me admin on the Discord. I want to make some role changes to the structure later. Nothing crazy. Yeah, sure. I just interviewed. Yeah, if you could, it's just frustrating, man. Like 13 years of building full stack applications, front and back, and DevOps. I've been doing AWS stuff, cloud infrastructure for like 7-8 years. Terraform, CDK, SST for like infrastructure as code, all this stuff. And it's like you get asked how to reverse a binary tree in an interview, and you're like, what? Why? Like, how are you this bad at interviewing? Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and just end the stream.